Hi, I'm Zachary Fowler of Fowler's Makery and Mischief and winner of Alone Season 3, and you're watching Jamie and I react to Season 4, Episode 2 of history's hit show Alone. Partners this time, and so let's watch it, hun.
Alright.
Coming soon to this YouTube channel, the premiere of 87 Days, a complete reenactment of my time out on Alone, all that I made, all that I did, what I would have done differently, as if I had done it in Maine, and what that looks like.
Premiering July 9th, so be sure to subscribe.
Wow, that's...
Another team.
The Mainers,
Mainers are not representing.
Mainers, well, there's still one Mainer left.
Yep.
But so far, Mainers are definitely not representing this time. But I mean, as we saw in the first episode, there's like a bear right outside of his place, making all kinds of noise and grunting and chuffing, and you feel like a Twinkie in a wrapper, and that's like your strongest protection. You know, you got a tarp over you and an air horn. You know, it's like, I mean, I can understand that. 5 teams left, and it's only been 2 days. If that's a foreshadowing, then
it could be a short season.
I wonder how many episodes there are. So, wow.
This episode has been brought to you by Fowler's Makery and Mischief.com, t-shirts, slingshots, shovels, and the new survival bracelet from WAZOO and Fowler Orange.
They need a walking stick. That's probably one of the first things they should do out there.
That's funny you said that, because like somebody else commented on my first video, like they need a walking stick. I don't usually walk with a walking stick. And
yeah, but it's different. When you're bushwhacking through a temperate rainforest, you could be stepping on what you think is a log and fall through a hole.
True, yeah. But at the same time, you see him pushing through so much brush. I just picture dragging stuff through the brush in your hands, and half the time it's useful, and the other half of the time it's just one more thing you got to drag along with you.
It seems like it would help.
Walking stick.
Walking stick. It'd be worth $500,000.
Hello, telemarketers. Since when do telemarketers have such a control of your cell phones? There's got to be an app for that. If anybody knows the app for that, post it down below in the comments. Thank you.
I look up and my bearing goes right over the top of that mountain.
Oh.
I can tell you right now, I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
Wow.
You love to say that.
It's like, beep, you mountain, beep, you mountain, beep. It's like, you know, initially when he came to that spot, he must have thought, like, that's where my brother is. And,
right.
Oh, I made it. Oh, wait a minute. There's nothing here. My heading still takes me further. See, when I got to my location, I just immediately knew it was a whole lot of suck. And so everything was just uphill from there. So
Literally.
Literally. That is awesome. I am so jealous of all the
trash.
The trash. They're so lucky. Like, there wasn't any trash in Patagonia to turn into stuff.
Darn pristine environment.
Darn pristine environment, yeah. Patagonia had nothing. And these guys got it made.
And Shannon's clutch. I gotta make sure he's getting hurt.
That's an awesome haul. 5 fish. When those gill nets work, they really work.
It's all about matching your hunting tools to your environment, though. A gill net would have never worked in Patagonia.
5 fish. What a score.
Oh.
It's disgusting.
No. Yeah, like that.
Wow, that's funny. Like, the episode 1, people are, oh, there's, you know, 70 pounds in my backpack, and now this guy's, I got 50 pounds. I just picture him walking through the woods. They're like, this is miserable, shedding materials everywhere.
Right. Hello?
And yet another telemarketer.
Wow. This it looked like this the hike is going to be a lot more of the show than I originally thought. What I was thinking the other day that it might take up to like 3 to 5 days for them to meet up. I don't think that's not so impossible now. So yeah, I'm gonna teleport on up out of here to a undisclosed location, and I'll talk about it more with you.
You're cleaning that up when you get home.
There we go. Wow, another great show. Holy cow, what an adventure. And we lose another team. Oh man. Sorry, Maine. You know, I was really hoping Maine would represent again, but we still got one more Mainer out there, but I could totally understand. I could totally understand, you know. You don't know unless you've been there. There was this bird in Patagonia. It was a bird, and it made some of my nights so sleepless. It would be, you know, 200-300 feet away in this like 100-foot tall tree, and it would had this I could swear at sometimes I almost think I hear it. It's just this screaming sound like the banshee from Harry Potter. It was so frustrating, you know. And it drives you nuts. You don't know until you've been there. And that was cool. His dad shows up and he's okay with it. You know, he doesn't be a big Debbie Downer on his son. And then we see Brooke once again out there just making unique things, makes a fireplace for the, you know, within, it looks like the first 2 days of her being there. It took me a month before my shelter was so secure that I was comfortable and was in it and had a fire in it. Man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, there's not much else to say about that. Her husband's still trying to get to her. And then we got Ted and Jim. Ted and Jim's Excellent Adventure, right? I mean, these guys, they seem like they've got it all together. They got a good plan. They're working hard. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think they are definitely contenders in it for the long haul, but I think everybody that is left, they all, I mean, I thought that from the beginning though, so too. Maybe I'm a bad judge of character. You shouldn't be listening to my review. But I like what they're up to, you know. They both seem to have a solid head on their shoulders, but they're both very close in age, and brothers can butt heads like you wouldn't believe. So I think we got some of that to look forward to, but I think they'll do well. And was it Jim that set that's not doing the hiking, right? Hey man, he nailed it with that net. I don't know much about gill nets, and I researched them a little before going to Patagonia. I found that I didn't think they would produce for me there. I would love to have tried one, because I think my dock and putting one in my dock and making it go out a little further might have actually been a good spot for where the fish would cross through under the docks. I did not expect the hiking to be such a big part of it. I said before, and I've said to a couple of people as we're talking, you know, I think it could take 3 to 5 days for them to reach there, and I think now that's actually a low estimate on some of the contestants' circumstances. I mean, the map, when it shows them, it looks like it's twice as far, you know, as it was the day before. I mean, these guys are totally in for it with this hike. I wonder if they've actually communicated beforehand about how to communicate when they're out there. Like, you know, are they gonna do some Sasquatch banging on the tree thing to notify each other when you're getting close, or, you know, on the 3rd day, look for me.
Look to my coming, at first light on the 5th day. At dawn, look to the east.
Brody and Chris Wilkes, or is it Brody or Chris? I didn't, I'll link it down below here, but is hiking, and he is finding it extremely difficult. He's soaking wet, and I know what that's like, you know, and I didn't even have to hike. Man, you get wet some days. I had bad gear out there.
Let me qualify that. My jacket was garbage, but my LL Bean gear was awesome.
You get wet and it just makes everything more miserable, and I was able to get inside and dry out. I can't imagine what it was like to constantly be wet and knowing that there's no shelter and there's no going inside and being comfortable. You're in it until you reach your brother, and hopefully at that point your brother's got a shelter that will keep you dry. So he comes out onto the beach, and I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, he found his brother, you know, he's already at his beach and stuff. And he goes, no, now I could look up and there's this mountain, and my heading is over that mountain. He must have, when he first arrived at the beach, been shouting for his brother for a little bit and realized that there's no sign or hiding or hair of him, and he's got to keep going. And that's when he said, beep, 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 beep. A lot of frustration in this episode people are having, you know. We see them already saying that they're feeling weak because they're traveling, burning a lot more calories. You know, I had days like that out there, you know, when I was carving my steps to get up over the mountain. You really feel it. And it's like, to be motivated and to keep pushing forward when you're like that, and you've had nothing but whatever the periwinkles and seaweed and bull kelp and it's in a slug. Oh gosh, that was so gross. You know, I had grubs out there, and they're like politicians. They're half full of, and the rest of them isn't much better. It's very hard. That first 12 days, you don't understand what. It's not just the surviving. Your body is going through a change, and it's switching over to burning fats for energy. You're not burning carbs for energy anymore. And so you're gonna get headaches, you're gonna get weakness in the legs, and mentally you're gonna be fuzzy. And that's the hardest part, is that first 12 days. And a lot of us, you know, and me included, before the show, I don't think I ever went more than 12 hours without something to eat. So to go out there and transition from a comfortable life to a experience of your body going through all these changes that you've never experienced before in your entire life can be breaking, and that's what happens, I think, for the most part. So it doesn't look like we're gonna see anything of Sam and Peter this episode, but we got Shannon and Jesse. They already tried for a yell. Apparently they don't know how far they are away from each other. So that's a whole nother thing entirely. I mean, if they spend 3 days, 4 days hiking out there and can't find the other person, you could end up quitting because you think you're so lost and you're only just over the other hill from the other person. That would be sad to see. So I have to say, I'm super jealous of all the junk they're getting. Man, he's got this right off the bat. And then when Jesse hits the shore where he's still hiking, he's passing buoys. I don't know if I didn't see him collect any, but I'd be tempted to start collecting those and throwing at least one of those nicer ones on my back for a nice water carrier. I mean, that is so wild. I'm so jealous of all their debris. And that wood that Jesse's walking through, there's like a whole log cabin right there. I mean, if the rest of that area he's just in was good, I'd be tempted to drag my brother back with me and set up camp there with the logs. There was a log cabin worth of materials there. So I think people know that this season, that if they're going to survive longer, they need a comfortable, strong, solid shelter, something to be able to dry your stuff out in. And that's always been my concern of a priority, was and thought was the most important thing, that a shelter that means it's a home, not just a shelter. Because if you build a shelter, you're always in there, I picture a shelter as you're tucked in and you're surviving, you know, and you want to be thriving, you know, you want to be out there, you want to be comfortable, you want to be able to take off and be in your jammies at night and put your feet up by the fire, and so you can be dry. You need that piece of home and that comfortable, and I think that makes the difference between being there a little while and a long time. You know, you see Callie built herself a magnificent palace, you know, beautiful light coming through with the tarp that she picked, and we saw Carly built this wonderful shelter, almost like mine, but she made it with sticks. I mean, double walled too, with a beautiful roof with a fire inside. You know, the shelter is the key to being able to be there a long time. And if you can nail that, and then be able to nail enough food, then you can be there indefinitely. So I think that's the thing to look for, these people, but they gotta make it to their shelters. Oh my goodness. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching. Fowler out.